Hi YouTube. Hello returning viewers and subscribers. On this last evening of November, I'd like to talk a little bit about making PPP internet connections on your Palms, and more specifically about how you can make it possible to connect your Palm Z22, which now I've featured in many videos, to the internet over PPP. I knew that the Z22 didn't have Bluetooth, didn't have Wi-Fi, just had a mini USB connection, and as I showed in my JPilot video, I knew that you could perform a hot sync over mini USB. That said, I had tried many times with TCP/SARE and Getty and other utilities to make a USB serial connection using the Palm essentially as a terminal emulator. Those unfortunately weren't successful, but after more digging, I found something very exciting. As Ray Romano would say, sometimes material presents itself. Looking in PalmDB, which I've also talked about in a previous video, I found a package called the Palm Z22 Network Enabler. As it mentions here, the Z22 by default doesn't have a networking stack. It just has a connection utility. And because of this, you can't use web browsers like Netfront or Blazor. Although you could with PPP connections, the Z22 by default doesn't have the libraries for PPP connections. Essentially what I did is I downloaded the package here and then installed the US English subset of programs to the Palm Z22 over HotSync. And then I did a few more steps I'll show you here in the Linux to establish a PPP connection. I'll be using this PPP connection in a number of future videos, including one about calling into BBSs over PPP, another one about browsing Gopher pages. I might do one on FTP or SFTP, and definitely I'll have one on web browsing. Okay, so I went ahead and downloaded this Palm Z22 Network Enabler. Let me go ahead and show you what was in that archive. Z22 Network Enabler here. Z22 Network Enabler folder. You can see there's AT phone driver. I got the ENUS version. There's a number of BPRC and OPRC files. I unfortunately don't, I know PRC files are Palm applications. Unfortunately, I don't know BPRC and OPRC, maybe binary and object or something like that. So essentially what I did is I got the BPRC, I guess the icon suggests it's binary, and OPRC for each of these US English versions, and then hot sync those to my Palm Z22 of ZPilot, or JPilot, excuse me. So there's one here, AT phone driver, then network PNL, that's 2, phone lib, that's 3, phone PNL, that's 4, and then Palm PPP net IF lib, which I think is the real critical one here, which would be 5. Okay, so now I'll just show you really quick how you can establish a PPP connection with your Palm using PPPD in Linux. It's probably similar for Windows. Let me go ahead here and show you my working PPPD command, since this took some doing. Essentially, once you connect your Z22 to your Linux machine with the visor and USB serial kernel modules enabled, you find the device, the USB serial Palm device that's attached, TTY USB, whatever, and then you use PPPD, nodetach, proxyarp, and DNS properly set, amongst other features that I have all shown here in order to establish connection. I don't think you have to put a local and remote IP address, but in the past I've had to do that, so I just included that. With all that said, I want to go a little further into this and describe these in detail. Nodetach leaves PPPD running until you press Control C. It keeps waiting for a connection to be established and doesn't time out. This is the USB serial device, the baud rate, no IP default. Proxy ARP is very important. That's I'm trying to remember what that stands for, but that looks for another interface to as a proxy for the internet connection. Let me just quickly Google that proxy ARP definition. Address resolution protocol. There we go. It's a proxy server on a given network answering the address resolution protocol queries for an IP address that is not on that network. Yes, so that's exactly what we need. So proxy ARP enables the internet connection, I believe, through the Wi-Fi interface in this case. I don't know ktune, local, no default, no IPX. I have noauth, so you don't need a password, a PAP or CHAP password, username password combination, local and remote IP, and then I set the DNS server to Google here, 8.8.8.8. I believe that's a Google DNS server. Let me just double check here for you. Google. Yes, that's Google DNS. I just wanted to be sure. Okay, so I can put, a subset of that in the description just for those of you who want to play along at home. And so I'll go ahead now and insert the kernel modules USB serial and visor. Sorry, it took me a second there. And now I'll disconnect the Palm, reconnect the Palm, and do sudo d message. And you can see handspring visor, Palm OS converter now attached to TTY USB 0 and TTY USB 1. Okay, so now I'm going to go on the Palm. I'll have another video showing this connection from the Palm side in more detail, probably tomorrow. I'm going to go onto the Palm and go to Preferences, Network, and to this, at least I'll just show you in the webcam, to this window where I have a PPP connection set up. I'll press Connect, and then I'm going to run my pppd connection here. I need to change that to executable. Okay, and I have established the connection over TTY USB 0. I'm using my Wi-Fi interface for proxy ARP, and I have a local IP address of 192.168.0.125. Changes to whatever your PC's IP address is, and just I made up this remote IP address of 192.168.0.250. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just show you the logs here on the Palm to show that it's connected. You can see everything, including the DNS server listed in view logs there. I've got to get this closer to the camera. I'll have another video where I show more detail from the Palm side. And now let me go ahead and just prove that this does indeed work. One neat feature of the view log, network log setting, done. You can get to it from that, is I'll go to view log and then go down and see that I can enter text in the bottom, and I can type in ping www. I think I mentioned to someone that my graffiti handwriting recognition is getting a lot better since I've done all these Palm videos. Ping www.google.com, and we'll just prove that indeed we can resolve that name and access that website. And yes, indeed, we did establish a connection to google.com over PPP. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to show in this video, but I'll have a follow-up tomorrow where I show you how I establish the connection on the Palm side, and in which I also post to a BBS. If I'm going to post to a BBS, why not the level 29 BBS? After all, that's the official BBS of the Retro Battle Station subreddit, and there is a Portable Week contest going on. How timely, what better time to have this video than during the Portable Week contest. Anyway, I hope you all find that helpful. Please leave any questions or comments you have in the comments down below, and please like and subscribe as always. Thanks for watching and have a great one.